I, F/16, miss my stepmom, F/41, and my past life. My life in the last 2 years has drastically changed. My parents are divorced, and I used to live half with my mom, F/46, and half with my dad, F/49, between the ages of 4 to 14 on the West Coast. My mom isn't great. She constantly has a new boyfriend and directs all of her attention onto her relationship, often leaving me and my brother, M/21, to fend for ourselves. Although my brother is significantly older than me, he has deep emotional issues that lead him to barely be able to take care of himself, much less me. My dad wasn't always an amazing parent, and for a couple years, our relationship was really tense. He has a cold personality, and he manages a business, so he's very busy. There was never much warmth at his house, and I was mostly left to my own devices. So, growing up, I've always been independent. I've always been a good student, good athlete, and had an active social life, even with little support from my parents. My mom never liked Eliza. She always held some resentment to another mother-like figure in my life. Eliza, my stepmom, and my dad dated for 13 years. They never married, but she lived with us from when I was 6 to 13. We've always been extremely close. She was immediately warm, kind, and present for me. She would make time for me when no one else would. When I was younger, and it was my mom's week, I'd cry in my bedroom wishing she was there. We had our own little traditions, roller skating on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and once a week, we would kick out the boys and have a dinner party with just us. We would watch movies, make interesting dishes, and she'd clean the kitchen while I sat on the counter and gossiped to her. As I got older, time wasn't as giving and our traditions lessened. Our bond didn't. It was a good life, one I wasn't nearly appreciative enough of, and she was at the core of it. Eliza had stood with me, supported and protected me when I went through a court case. She was there for me when my mom, and even my dad, wasn't. My mom's house was never clean, to a point of ill health, and I was often left to clean it when I got back. Eliza would come in and help clean whenever she dropped me off. In 2020, under house arrest, tensions grew. The proximity made everyone a little irritable, and her and my dad had some fights. Eliza had depression and chronic migraines, which often left her moody for weeks at a time. Eliza had a kid that was 2 years older than me, but she didn't have custody over. For the summer of 2022, her kid, Jade, came to stay with us. It was the first time she lived with Eliza since she was 7. Jade had a lot of trauma from her adoptive parents and held animosity towards Eliza, which ultimately led to her quickly leaving the house, both by choice and necessity. After that, me and Eliza's relationship was shifted. She still loved me, and we were still close, but I think I reminded her too much of her own daughter, which hurt. I think I served a constant reminder of what she had and had lost, which added a layer of complexity to our relationship that my brother and her did not have. In 2023, my dad had to temporarily relocate to Italy for his business. We sold the house, I moved in with my mom full-time, and Eliza moved away. Unbeknownst to me, Eliza and my dad had broken up. Eliza was depressed and was taking everyone down with her. I remember the day that Eliza gave me the breakup talk, even if I hadn't known it at the time, where she had said that she would always be there for me, although maybe not physically, and that the change wouldn't stop our relationship. I remember getting out of the car, she was dropping me off at school, and sobbing on the stairs to the building. I believed her. My dad's temporary move turned permanent. He moved around a lot, from Italy to Georgia to Spain, but never returned home. His company needed him. I understood. My mom's line of work required traveling as well, so often there would be weeks where I would be home alone. My brother was living in a different city at the time, and I would be completely on my own. Eliza still texted. We would meet up for dinner at least once a month, but it was still drastically less than we used to. Her and my brother would talk more regularly, but the same couldn't be said for our relationship. They were in closer proximity physically, they lived in the same city, but I still believe it had something to do with how I reminded Eliza of Jade too much. In the summer of 2024, my dad met someone. By September, they were married. His new wife, Suni, F/48, was nice. She lived in New York, and he lived there whenever he wasn't traveling. When Eliza had found out he was married, she did not take it well. I think everyone, me, my brother, Eliza, all thought their breakup was temporary. After that, She never contacted me again. I reached out on holidays and stuff, but she would never respond. I was devastated. Still am. Me and my dad are still close. As close as you can be with thousands of miles and a time difference between us. Me and my mom are not. I love her, but she has never been active in my life, and that fact did not change when I moved in permanently. My brother moved in again, but he still struggles and there's nothing I can do to aid that. I feel alone a lot. I feel abandoned too. I mean, my entire life shifted without any warning or willingness. At 14, I couldn't predict the trajectory my world was taking. I was barely a teenager. My dad's gone, caught up in his own life. My mom, mentally, is too. Eliza won't talk to me. I feel like I lost my family. I'm stuck in it, unable to move forward because I am so caught up grieving the past. There's days I can't get out of bed, can't go to school, and my performance is suffering due to it. How do I move past this? How do I detach from the past, a past I desperately wish for back? How can I look forward when each day is bleaker than the last? I miss my family, but what can I do? TLDR, my dad and stepmom left me, and I don't know how to move on from it.